So today I'm going to be going over how technical you need to be to use LearnDash. Now, I get this question a lot, and really the question is coming from people who are asking, do they need to hire someone to help them out, or can they do this themselves? So the answer to that is really, it depends. Now, you can set up and configure LearnDash for launching your online course without having to write a single line of code. However, if you're not technically savvy, or if you're intimidated by technology, you really ought to rely on someone else. But before we get into that, or before you make your final decision, let me cover a few things. So first of all, is learning LearnDash the best use of your time? Even if you're very technical, or you kind of enjoy working with technology, if you're the business owner, is that really where you should be spending your time? A better use of your time might be recording the content for your course, writing the content, figuring out what the course should be, instead of tinkering with something technical that's just not the best use of your time. So the first thing I want to say is this what you should be doing, or is delegating it to someone else a better approach? The next thing is, LearnDash is not that difficult, but in order to use LearnDash, you have to understand WordPress. And the thing is, WordPress, even though it's not super difficult, it is a website development platform. It's a blogging platform. There's a lot there. There are things like themes, plugins. There's a lot of options. And if you've never worked with WordPress, and if you've never been a builder of a WordPress site, that has a learning curve. So, I just want to be upfront. That's something you definitely have to take into considerations. Now, with WordPress, there are many, many options for getting help to build it. WordPress is, it's one of the top, well, probably the top website building platform out there. And there are many, many people from all over the world at many different price points that can give you a hand. I mean, we specialize in building LearnDash sites for people. Give us a call if you want some help. But it's not that difficult to find a good WordPress builder. And finding a WordPress builder that also knows LearnDash is also not something that's all that difficult. So, that's something I definitely want to throw out there. Now, many people are coming to me asking about LearnDash and how technical you need to be to use it, because they're also considering a hosted LMS, or a hosted learning management system, which is, definitely something that you as a business owner ought to be considering. But, the price for a lot of these solutions, and, among them are Teachable, Thinkific, Kajabi, there are a host of them, right? And many of them are set up so that the price point when you get started is relatively low. Look at the fine print and look at what could happen if you get a lot of users, if you have to charge a lot of money, because many of them charge you based on the number of users, and the price goes up as you get more users. A lot of them will charge based on how much e-commerce payment information goes through, or traffic goes through. So you're paying them a cut of how much you make. The benefit of LearnDash is that LearnDash, you pay for your initial investment, you get the site built, and then your costs tend to be pretty flat. So you have a certain amount of fixed costs that you are going to have to pay up front. But then once that investment is done, then it's a lot more profit. You do need some technical proficiency to work with these hosted platforms, some more so than others. But the real key to selecting your platform is, what control do you have over the platform, and what ownership do you have? So by control, I mean, can I control what I can do next with it? It could be that you're limited. Well, you're going to be limited by only what they offer. And if they are not offering one feature that you are going to need, then you're stuck. The benefit of working with LearnDash, not just because of LearnDash, but mainly because of WordPress, is the sky's the limit on flexibility and options. If you want to track events, or you want to have people register events, WordPress has that, and that can be part of your website along with LearnDash to get the solution done. If you want a community, with a hosted solution, you're not really going to have that as an option. So you're going to have to rely on, let's say, Facebook private groups. In a WordPress environment, you can consider something like BuddyBoss or several other options, so that within one website, you have both the learning and the community features. So sky's the limit on flexibility. And when you pick a hosted LMS, you're going to be, pigeonholed into what they can provide to you. And in the future, if you need some option they don't have, you may have to forklift out the whole solution and start again from scratch. Not to say that that's not a good option, because some people might say, hey, this is going to be my platform for the first year or two, and then later I'm okay with moving to something else, because by then I'm generating enough revenue to justify making a change like that. But when you're comparing LearnDash and what it's going to take to build that up front, and you're comparing that to a hosted option, just because it sounds inexpensive or free at the beginning doesn't mean that that's going to be the case ongoing. You really have to, consider any potential surprise costs that you have to get into, because there's some sort of technical glitch that needs to be addressed. And so when you compare the two, the cost differential just may not be that different.